One of the most talked about topics in the internet is in cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing essentially means that you can enjoy computing resources through the internet or through the web. So you may have heard of terms like SaaS or software as a service, things like platform as a service or even infrastructure as a service. So these are all subsets of cloud computing. So software as a service essentially means through your internet or your web browser you can enjoy applications that traditionally you have to buy software to use. This is platform service for a service, so you can actually build things on top of a applications on top of a platform that's owned by a third party company. And infrastructure by a service as a service means you can actually use their servers to actually host your own applications as well. So sometimes you may hear a term like on demand. So essentially it means the same thing. On demand applications are part of cloud computing. What this means is that all your data is actually stored on the quote-unquote cloud, and this will be owned by the service providers. So all you need is actually a computer with a browser, and you can draw data from the cloud. You can log into the system and then see all your information from a web browser. And you can be on your PC to access this data, or you can go home and serve it on your iPad or some sort of mobile device, and you will be getting the same data because everything is stored on the cloud. So one of the advantages then you can see is mobility. You can actually have your information wherever you go using any system, and it's not sort of stuck to just one computer. You may be unaware, but you probably are a user of cloud computing. So for example, if you use Gmail or you use any kind of web-based mail, essentially you are using cloud computing technology because you all have all your data and all your emails stored on either Google's cloud or Microsoft's cloud if you use Hotmail, and you're drawing data from your multiple devices, be it your mobile phones, be it your tablets or your PCs. One of the key innovations that enable cloud computing is what we call virtualization. So essentially what virtualization means is, for example, if you have a server, you can actually split it up into multiple separate systems and use it as a separate system. So for example, a company like Google, they can buy like 20 servers and then split it up to 5 pieces per server. Then they can sell it as 100 systems. Whereas if you are one company and you want to use a application and you have to buy a server for it, you may come out with wastage because you only require just 20% of the space. So you're actually wasting like 80% of the either the space or the processing power. So this brings me to the next point, which is one of the advantages of using cloud computing technology, is the cost efficiency. Like I mentioned, if you are a company and you want to have your own server and your own solution, you actually have to buy this hardware, and you may not utilize the full amount. Whereas a third-party sort of company, a provider, they will actually use up most of the system, and they will be because they buy more servers, they enjoy more economies of scale. They can create this application at a much lower cost. Another key concept of cloud computing is what we call multi-tenancy. And you can imagine multi-tenancy like a condominium block. If you want to have a swimming pool, you can build a swimming pool and it will be enjoyed by all your tenants within the condominium block. So it makes sense for the company or the landlord to build a swimming pool because many parties are going to enjoy this benefit, and the costs are sort of spread to all the different companies and all the tenants. Whereas if you own a house yourself, if you want to build a swimming pool, you have to bear the entire cost of the system. So looking at computing terms, for say for example, if you want to build a better sort of antivirus or firewall to your system, all the costs are actually shared amongst all the tenants. And for example, if it costs $1 million to build this firewall, each will only pay 1/4 of it. Whereas if you build your own system, it's unlikely that you invest $1 million in a system that you only use 20%. So multi-tenancy enables companies to enjoy the latest innovation because everybody is chipping in to the innovation or the development cost. Another trait of cloud computing is that they tend to charge based on a pay as you use or pay as you go sort of a subscription model. So for example, you can pay for a number of users per year, or you can pay by the number of computing resources you use. So this tends to be the payment model for cloud computing. So what this also means is that you don't tend to have a huge capital investment in front, because there's no need to buy your servers. So you don't need to have a huge startup cost to enjoy the service. You tend to pay a subscription, and your cost actually spread across the different years you use it. Another advantage that it's quite evident is that because you don't actually own the servers, you actually don't have to maintain the servers. So what this means is also that you don't actually have to hire your own IT staff to look after the servers. You don't actually have to buy backups servers, because the providers tend to have their own backups for you. They do their backups for you. So it reduces your cost in terms of the IT staff that you have to hire as well to look after the system. Next, the setup tends to be faster because these systems have been built before and you're actually using a similar system with other customers. So they don't actually have to build from the ground up. They will actually provide you probably a bare bones sort of system, and then you can do different customizations to it. And so the setup is actually faster. One more advantage is that all your information is real time, because you are updating the information onto the cloud every time you click save, and so the next time you log on, the information is updated on the cloud, and you will just pull down the latest information. So the information tend to be real time under this cloud computing model. So with all these advantages for cloud computing, one may ask that why isn't every company using cloud computing technology then? So it ultimately boils down to two key areas. One is in privacy and the other is in security. So for privacy, people tend to be worried that because they are not hosting their own information, their information may get leaked out by the provider. So what many companies have done, or these providers have done, is that they will actually provide the guidelines which they protect the information with. You will see sort of standards like safe harbor being mentioned, and these are all guidelines on how they actually protect the information and protect your privacy. The other areas in security, so companies will tend to quote the sort of audits that they have gone through. A common one that you will see by top providers is the SAS 70 Type 2 audit. So what this essentially means is that these companies have actually gone through with the international bodies on the different standards and the different steps of security they have gone through for their data centers. For example, how they store data, the amount of backup they do. So these are definitely concerns that companies have to sort of look into before they adopt cloud computing technology.